So background of my childhood, parents didn't have a lot of money. Mum used to make some of our clothes or go to the op shop, and we didn't eat meat very much through the week because it was expensive. I reckon I must have seen a tear coming out of my dad's eye every time we had lamb chops, because I used to just eat as many as I could. So I wouldn't say that we were incredibly poor, but it was apparent to me when I was young that money was important, and it was something that we didn't necessarily have, right? So I guess that programming can go one of two ways. And for me, I decided to make it a bit of a focal point and conquer money, if you will, and figure out how it worked and own it, rather than being scared of it or hating it or whatever. So early on through, obviously my first job, I was working at Woolworths. Then I got an apprenticeship. So I was doing my apprenticeship and working at Woolies at the same time, as an electrician, sorry. So I was earning $6.92 as an apprentice, plus working storeman at Woolies. And I've always been one that takes on responsibility. So I've always managed to do more in terms of the jobs, and always, got calls to come back, which is great as well. And that's just, I think that hunger was really useful, because a lot of the time people go, why would I put in the extra effort? I'm working for someone else, blah, blah, blah. It's actually for you, right? As well. It's about your self-growth. And I just continued on that path. I was reading books on retirement when I was 15. And then realized a lot of what I needed to do was internal work. So I was talking to, whenever I could, I'd just be chatting to people that actually had made money, or that were living a life that I thought I wanted to live, right? So a lot of the time you're getting advice from the wrong people. Just make sure you're getting advice from the right people. And I pick the eyes out of it, right? Just because I'm chatting to someone that's very wealthy and affluent, they might give me some good advice on making money, but it might not sit with my values, right? So then I go, okay, well, maybe that's not for me, but this part is. So I continued that process, started, I knew that I need to make more money to save up a bit of a nest egg to start this investment journey. So I started working away mining. I did that for a little bit longer than I expected. That ended up being an 8-year journey, and ended up getting another trade along the way. So I've got 2 trades now in instrumentation and electrical tech, and I did explosive atmospheres work for a while as well. So I don't know, I've got a stack of cards now. This is all my licenses in there.
Oh,
there's a fair few. Electrical license in nearly every state, blah, blah, blah. But it was a means to an end, right? I knew that it was serving a purpose to get me to where I am now. I didn't want to stay working in the mines, which a lot of guys end up doing, because they're earning reasonably, large sums of money, and then they end up having, probably a family, or maybe bust up a couple of times and whatever, and end up being a slave to that money because they don't put enough away and they don't invest. So I didn't want that to happen to me. Obviously, the rest is sort of history. I quit the job and started doing business on my own, and with other business partners. And I have to say that collaborations really helped me. I think a lot of people are scared to give up a little bit of control or work with other people, but it's actually one of the best ways to move forward, not only in a financial sense, but often in a collaboratory sort of mental framework way. So if you can find people that have different skill sets to you, or that make up for things that you're lacking in, then you can really push forward quite quickly.
It's an interesting point, because there needs to be some sort of compatibility plus an added value. So how did you actually select and go about finding the right business partner? What was important to you while you were, considering?
Yeah, look, I would say on some level, I have to get along with them like I would a friend. And their morals and values have to somewhat line up with mine. I wouldn't say be exactly the same, because my morals and values are very particular and to a fairly reasonable standard. But as long as there's not huge conflicts in those base layers, like you want to be able to get along with someone. You just like a friend, you want to be able to have honest conversations. You want to be able to have arguments in a constructive way. The same as any relationship, like with a partner, friend, like people close to you. These people are essentially becoming quite close to you. It's almost like a marriage. So you want to make sure that you're on the same page with a lot of things. And then from there, you just work it all out, like you never know what's going to happen. You never know all of the things you need along the way. But if you've got people in your life that you can count on, rely on, got the same morals and values, you've got the same sort of ideas of where you want to head.
Yep.
The rest sort of just happens and works its way out. Yeah.
So it's great that you found not just a business partner within the property development business. You said that you also got a few business partners in the gym, and your idea is to actually grow that into a bit of a group of gyms, right? Yeah. So you just started with the first one. The next ones are coming or planned for. Tell us a little bit more about your investments, because I think that's really one that, again, sets you apart. You're 34 years of age. You made a really big chunk of money in investments. Tell us a little bit more about that.